Houston is an international city. 30% of its residents are born in another country, and in total, over 100 different languages are spoken in our city's many vibrant neighborhoods. Over 3,300 companies are engaged in international business, and Houston is home to the nation's third largest diplomatic corps. Because Houston is an international city and home to residents from all corners of the globe, it is vital that people who speak a language other than English are able to access essential city services. The purpose of this training is to explain 1. Why the city has adopted a language access policy, 2. What that policy means, and 3. How city employees should assist limited English proficient or LEP individuals. There are a series of federal laws, presidential executive orders, and City of Houston policies which require that City of Houston employees offer meaningful access to limited English proficient individuals. Under Title VI of 1964 Civil Rights Act, public agencies and/or organizations like the City of Houston are obligated to provide competent language assistance to limited English proficient individuals. Presidential executive orders also mandate that LEP individuals receive access to government services.
In 2014, the City of Houston adopted Administrative Procedure 2-11, which mandates the city departments which interact with the public must develop and implement a language access plan to explain how they will serve limited English proficient individuals. The administrative procedure also provides instructions on how city employees can use in-house multilingual staff, the Language Line Solutions app, or telephone number to assist non-English speakers who need access to city services.
Ensure that everyone is able to follow and understand this instructional video. Let's first define some important terms which we will be using throughout the video. Limited English proficient. A limited English proficient or LEP individual is defined as a person with limited English proficiency who has trouble reading, writing, and/or speaking English. Translation versus interpretation. The kind of language support discussed in this video is interpretation. Interpretation is performed orally and in real time. It is not concerned with a word-for-word interpretation, but rather with capturing the spirit of what someone is saying. Translation, in contrast, is usually concerned with a word-for-word translation of written text. Essential public information. Essential public information is any information or resources which have been deemed vital for purposes of public safety, public health, and public welfare. Although English may not be the first language of an LEP individual, he or she is still entitled to meaningful access to essential public information. Language access policy. The City of Houston's language access policy mandates that city employees must provide meaningful language access to LEP individuals using timely and effective resources. LEP individuals cannot be charged for language access services such as translation or interpretation. The services must be provided to them at no cost at all. Bilingual or multilingual employees. A bilingual or multilingual employee is a person who works for the city and has documented competency with 2 or more languages. Departments should maintain a list of their bilingual employees and make it available to employees who interact with the public. iSpeak card. iSpeak cards enable LEP individuals to ask for an interpreter. They help employees immediately identify the need for an interpreter and the language spoken by an LEP individual. Language identification guide or poster. This poster or guide assists literate individuals who are not proficient in English to identify a preferred language. You will usually see them on top of desks, receptionist counters, or hanging on a wall. American Sign Language, ASL. ASL is a visual language. Sign language is not a universal language. Each country has its own sign language, and regions have dialects. Much like the many languages spoken all over the world, ASL is used predominantly in the United States and in many parts of Canada. Hearing impairment, deafness, or hearing loss. These may refer to individuals with the inability to hear things either totally or partially. A person with mild hearing impairment may have problems understanding speech, especially if there is a lot of noise around, while those with moderate deafness may need a hearing aid. Some people are severely deaf and depend on lip reading when communicating with others. People who are profoundly deaf can hear nothing at all. In order to communicate spontaneously and rapidly with people, they are totally reliant on lip reading and/or sign language.
Now here's a short instructional video to the Language Line Solutions app that is available to all City of Houston employees that interact with LEP individuals.
Hi, I'm Greg with Language Line Solutions. I'd like to introduce you to our new world-class on-demand video interpreting solution, Insight Video Interpreting. Insight unleashes the power of our 8,000-strong interpreter team, the largest, most accomplished, and experienced team of linguists in the world. In a matter of seconds, you'll be connected to a trained video interpreter. Insight gives you a fast, easy, and secure access to our interpreters. Each session is natively encrypted, guaranteeing the safety and security of your information, while eliminating the need for complicated VPN tunnels. Insight is our own proprietary solution. No third parties are involved. Technical support is available 24/7 directly from LanguageLine. Getting started on Insight is easy. Simply download the application. The first time you open Insight, you'll need to authenticate your device by entering the LanguageLine supplied authentication code, just once. From this point forward, you'll be taken directly to the Insight language selection screen. Insight supports 34 spoken languages and American Sign Language. The top 12 languages are listed alphabetically, or they can be customized to reflect the languages in your communities. You can also search for a language by country. Enter China. Mandarin, Cantonese, and other spoken languages in that country will appear. To get an interpreter is really easy. In this scenario, we'll have Scott, a physical therapist, meet Rosalind, a limited English proficient client who prefers to communicate in Spanish.
Good morning, Rosalind. How can I help you?
¿Habla español?
No, let me get an interpreter. Un momento.
Thank you for calling Language Line Solutions. This is Jaime, ID number 960452. I will be your Spanish interpreter today. How may I assist you?
Good morning, interpreter. I'm with my client, Rosalind, and I need you to interpret today.
Be my pleasure to do so.
Rosalind, how can I help you today?
Rosalind, ¿cómo le puedo ayudar?
Tengo un dolor profundo en mi hombro.
I have a deep pain in my shoulder.
That's on the back side of your left shoulder, correct?
¿Es en la parte de atrás de su hombro izquierdo, correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
Seeing visual cues is powerful, and to clarify and reinforce key instructions, the Insight Notepad feature is helpful.
Okay, interpreter, please use the Insight Notepad to write some instructions.
Of course. Allow me, please.
Interpreter, please write exercise and ice your shoulder 3 times a day.
Yes. 1 second.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Are those instructions clear?
¿Estas instrucciones están claras?
Sí.
Yes.
Great. Thank you, interpreter.
You're welcome. My pleasure assisting you. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
I think that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you once again.
The Insight app also provides one-touch access to audio interpreters in more than 240 languages, so you always have access to a LanguageLine linguist anytime, anywhere.
Before we end, here are 10 best practices that you should use when working with an interpreter to help with LEP individuals.
1. Use trained bilingual interpreters. 2. Introduce yourself to the constituent and the interpreter. Begin the session by clearly stating your name and your department or division. 3. Start the session with making a commitment to confidentiality. Your LEP constituent needs to know that the information he or she shares with you will remain confidential. 4. Address the LEP constituent directly. Remember to speak in first person. Face the constituent and address him or her directly. 5. Speak slowly and clearly, using short sentences. Pause frequently to allow the interpreter to work. Asking an interpreter to remember long sentences or passages can lead to omissions. Number 6. Use simple language. Avoid using slang, jargon, and metaphors. Communicate with the LEP individual at the language level he or she can understand. Number 7. Practice patience. Everyone wants to be treated with dignity and respect. Your patience and warmth will help your constituent communicate more openly, thoroughly, and honestly about his or her needs. Number 8. Be aware of differences. Some concepts, systems, processes, and the structure of city government that we are accustomed to in the United States may not exist in other countries.
Number 9. Avoid side conversations, interruptions, and asking multiple questions at one time.
Number 10. Allow time for questions. always allow LAP individuals to seek clarification if they do not understand something. The best way to ensure they have understood your explanations and instructions is to confirm with them that they have understood what you explained. The interpreter will be happy to facilitate this check. Finally, it's important that we cover hearing impaired individuals. If you have a constituent who is deaf or hearing impaired, you can assist him or her by using any of the following 3 strategies. You can communicate using 1. Written notes, 2. The phone, or 3. An interpreter. 1. Communicate by written notes. First, try communicating by writing a note. Keep in mind that American Sign Language has a word pattern of its own, which can change the way sentences are written. Be aware that not all people who are deaf can write, which does not indicate a lack of intelligence. Number 2, communicate by phone. If the person who is deaf has a smartphone, a City of Houston employee may communicate with him or her over the phone. First, ask the person's phone number by writing a note. When you call the number, your call will be mediated by an interpreter. Note, if you communicate by phone, due to FTC regulations, the person who is deaf cannot stay in the same room with you. The constituent will have to step into the hallway or another room. The interpreter will not assist if he or she discerns that you are in the same room with the person who is deaf. You may also text with the individual who is deaf if you have access to a City of Houston cell phone. 3. Communicate by interpreter. If the person who is deaf is accompanied by an interpreter, proper etiquette recommends that you maintain eye contact with the constituent, not the interpreter, even though it is the interpreter who's speaking.
Although they may not speak English, limited English proficient individuals are still entitled to meaningful access to essential public information. Remember to become familiar with the tools that have been designed to help you serve LEP individuals, such as the Language Identification Card, iSpeak cards, on-site bilingual staff in your department, the Language Line Solutions app, and phone number.
You can find these resources and more information by visiting the city's Language Access website at www.iSpeakHouston.org. As public servants, it is our duty to help bridge the linguistic gap that LEP individuals may encounter when seeking a city service. By using the resources covered in this video, we can all ensure that we meet the needs of people from all over the world who call Houston home.